Yeah.
Attack on my mark.
Hello and welcome to this game cast. Today we're on two lakes. We've got El Baptisto playing as the 4th Dutch Division, and he's going up against 9th Panzer Division played by Funny Transport Enjoyer. Sorry, I am a little bit under the weather, but let's get on with it. So basically, red's on the good side because you can get into Olga and Emma at roughly the same time, and blue just doesn't get there as fast, and Leonid is closer to Emma than Side is to Olga by really quite some margin. And so, if you're red, you take Emma, you can threaten Leonid. If you're blue, you take Olga, you can't really threaten Sign. There's a long way to go. Nice big open field, grain silo there, etc., etc. So, yeah, fourth is definitely division in the game. It is a game in the division. Basically, it relies a lot on Leopard 2s, and only one card of its Leopard 2s have 17 front armor, which the rest all have 16, which means that a 30 AP AT plane, which basically is it is every single AT plane in the game, is 30 AP, will one-shot most of their tanks in one hit. And they don't have any long-range AA. They don't have any Eyehawks. They don't have any long-range fighters. They've only got so-called shotgun fighters. And it's just a very, very difficult division to play. It's got some advantages. Basically, you get a lot of infantry for a tank division. Like a lot of infantry. So that's something at least. And you do get a lot of Leopard 2s. But yeah, no long-range AA. So, deployments. We've got Verkener's AT, so 40-point Carl Gustav squad. Recon, fair enough. And then two Genie Werk, and they are another recon squad, and he's brought them in the M113A1 Werk, which is recon M113. That does mean they're slow, but he's not rushing it. He's just going to there, so he doesn't have to be fast. Then he's backing that up with a TOW 2, which goes here. Also, the div gets no cheap ATGMs, which means that your tanks, are pretty exposed to enemy ATGM spam, stuff like that. So you do get a good RT tab though. The RT pieces they get are pretty nasty. So TOW 2 there, it's pretty typical, and then Panzer Infantry. I mean, it's like it's like arm rifles, except one less MG and a Carl Gustav instead of a Law. Carl Gustav does have better range, but it's 5 more points. Yeah, whatever. It makes sense. But the IFV is too expensive. It should be 5 points cheaper, really. This shouldn't be 50 points. You compare that to a Warrior Milan. Anyway, so yeah, he's putting that there. And then Leopard 1 NL, which is like the Leopard 1 A1 stat clone, except this one's 10 points cheaper, which is pretty funny, but the division sucks anyway, so it's fine. Yeah. So he's got a couple of those. He's got Cheetah, which is like a Gepard, but I believe it's slightly better. Somebody told me it was slightly better. I haven't looked at it myself. And then, yeah, CV for Leonid. This thing is a 30-point exceptional optics vehicle with smoke and 2 armor and so on. So, let's go in there. Another Verkener's AT going to here because he knows he can't get here before the 9th player does. Although 9th doesn't get airborne forward deployed either. So the recon deployment... Sorry, I've got a very itchy head, I guess. The recon deployment of the 9th would get to here at the same time blues gets to like here, and so that's pretty rough because on this side the recon deployment of the 9th gets to here when blue gets to here, so you can yeah, it's not great if you're blue. Anyway, so he's just going in with 3 Genie Werks, they got the Uzis, they got the satchels, pretty decent squad for close range work because of the SMGs. There are different types of SMGs. MP5 is the best one. I think AS Val as well. And yeah, at minimum range, you do kill stuff quite fast with an SMG, and the satchels, of course. So yeah, And then, right, so 4 of those actually. And then a CV for the 2 zones, Toad 2, Leopard 1, which has it been passed? Has it been passed? I don't think it's been passed. Cheetah, a 5th Genie? No, never mind. Yeah, interesting deployment. You'll see he's open with no Leopard 2s because why would you? You're just going to die. Switching to his opponent's deployment. Got 9th Panzer. I opened 9th Panzer with a fob. I've already played it a couple of times. I think the div's way too strong, so I don't like playing it. I don't like playing divs that are too strong because it takes the fun out of the loss, and also I know it's going to get nerfed, so I don't want to get used to it in a state that's stronger than it's going to be. Well, okay, I don't know it's going to get nerfed, but I'd be very surprised if it didn't. So, yeah, for Mott Aufklärer. Also, you know, if you're on this side, you actually do get to these buildings before Blue does if you've got airborne deployment and he's got airborne deployment. So in this case, if he's got recon deployment, you've got recon deployment, you will get there first. And yeah, so he's stacking these up. Yeah. And one of them's a BMP-1. Not a huge fan, but it does have mediocre stealth, which can be very useful. Because, yeah, you put it there, you can shoot down that road, right? Then we've got 10 trillion, so we've got a ATGM there, a Malayuka ATGM here, Motschutsen, 2 T-72s. They've all got different names and stuff. So this also gets one shot by a 30 AP plane, but this one doesn't. So there's a pretty big difference between them. And honestly, these are too cheap. They're just way too cheap. I tried to rail against it. I was like, look, just make everything else cheaper instead. But nah, mate, they are way too cheap for what they are. Especially considering they've got Resolute, their availability is really high. They've got auto loaders. You know, they're faster than Chieftains. That 175 meters less range or 125 meters less range or whatever is really not a big deal. So yeah, they're too cheap. You get too many of them. So yeah, you just put them here and you just shoot everything. Having said that, he's only got 1 Streller. I would prefer 2 Cubs back here and 1 less tank, or get rid of this BMP 1 PD. I mean, what? You do get BMP 2s on this division. So this is a Conker's BMP 1, which honestly I don't think is worth it. I don't think it's worth it because it's got bad stealth, so it just gets spotted and dies. I appreciate that it's a lot cheaper than this, and this has 3 less pen, etc. But I don't think it's worth it. So yeah, you could get rid of that. I mean, you've already got 4 infantry there, 2 tanks. I'll get rid of one of the tanks by a cub and try and buy an extra infantry or something. BRM1 going over to here. So he's actually not gone for this at all, and that's probably sensible given that he's got fob. So you gotta appreciate that. You know, a lot of points. That's like 1 fighter basically, depending on the fighter, tied up in that fob, and that is going to slow you down. And 9th wants that kind of late game MLR. It just wants to MLRS people for the whole game, especially if you bought the fob. So yeah, just holding the zones so that it can be even, and then presumably napalm spam. So we'll cast the game. We'll do it from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joinering the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they put up with a slightly ill-sounding hippie. He didn't path it at the start. And, you know, great way to support the channel. As of February 14th, I will be unemployed, and still writing the thesis. I really messed that one up. I should have played less Warno, but yeah, whatever. And so this will be my sole source of income. So I do appreciate it. If you want to support the channel and you don't want to pay money, please do just like the videos, just comment on the videos. It takes you 10 seconds. You could have done it while I'm saying this. And yeah, it's good for you. It's good for me, which is good for you, right? Right, we're all on the same team here. So yeah, Blue holding his zones, and then I guess he wants to build up loads of Leopard 2s and slowly work his way into here. But generally, I mean, the Leopard 2s do beat the T-72s in a head-on fight. And Blue gets some pretty good tube arty of his own, and he can use those. So, yeah, good job from El Baptisto here, but this doesn't... I mean, it doesn't really exactly have good optics, and if anybody gets close enough, they cap it. So, you know, realistically, he should have had the unit still in it if he was going to do that. Because, yeah, you could get there, but then what? I don't know. So, yeah. Interesting. And there you go. They've only got 2 armor, but they've got improved Bushmaster on them. Basically, the Bushmaster got nerfed, but this unit was a stat clone of the Bushmaster. In real life, the Oerlikon's completely different to the Bushmaster. Apparently, it fires way faster, like it's actually just better. But in this, it's just a Bushmaster. And so, yeah, it's got the old Bushmaster, which has better motion accuracy. I mean, it's not incredible, right? But, yeah, so Toe-2 against this, they will survive that. I actually missed, which is really surprising. And then, yeah, M113s against... I mean, this is just not going to win that fight. You need that Leopard 1 in there if you want to win that fight. But, yeah, he's brought it over here. Quite a good idea, actually, to take that out. The Panzer Infantry... Panzer Infantry... Yeah, Dutch is such a beautiful language, honestly. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, the Leopard 1s are cheap for what they are, which makes them good, right? I mean, obviously a Toe-2 one-shots them, etc. But you can really, like, you know, you can really get 2-shot by a T-72. Oh, Steiner! Steiner contacted me the other day, actually. He said he was finding 4th UK quite fun. And somebody else told me that... told me that they played against Steiner on 4th UK and he rushed him. So they were probably talking about the same game. Anyway, here come the planes, right? And this is why, if you want to defend, you need 2 Cubs here. Because this is probably going to die. That's a very nice payload on that. Down it goes, and 1 Strela will not kill that, even if it hits, because it just doesn't have time to get 2 shots off, given that it's firing spaghetti, non-radar AA, it's got 2.5 second aim time, it's not got the range. I mean, if it was like right there next to the tank, it probably would have fired twice, but because it's back here, it only fired once. And yeah, you see that, you know, the Conquer's 2 shots these Leopard 1s, so what's the plan, Stan? I mean, he needs vision. I guess he could try and come in over here. In the meantime, I'm really surprised he bought that before he bought the Napalm Grad. That is an Acacia with a horrible German name. And yeah, that Leopard 1 goes down. The stabilizers on these aren't terrible. People tell me the Grom's weak. It's not. It's just a turkey shoot. Sometimes it absolutely messes you up. And sometimes it misses 5 shots in a row. But yeah, he's not brought the AA. He's not brought the AA, and the helicopter sent out by Funny Transport Enjoyer will punish this pretty heavily. Send it all back. If only he'd had the cheater up here, he would have been able to hit him. But yeah, I do wonder, like, where's he going? Because like, if you're coming over here, that's not the way. If you're coming over here, that's not the way. He's just going forwards into nothing, basically. So yeah, pretty rough. I mean, the T-72 is just killing everything. This guy is just spinning around circles. He knows there's AA here, so I would have gone for this instead. Oh, actually, he's doing that separately. But yeah, there's still only 1 Strela there. So yeah, the Cubs are starting to come out now. That F-16 is pretty good. It's got 60% accuracy. AIM-9Ls, which are the ones the UK took to the Falklands. On their Harriers, along with LGBTs, laser-guided bomb televisions, and yeah, the Harrier LGBT, one of the oldest LGBT planes in the game, not represented in the game. It's also worth pointing out that, on a completely unrelated note, the Mirage F1CT came out in like 1992 or something, and yeah. Interesting. So that's why I bought the Acacia, to deal with that too. because that is an annoying building. And yeah, BMP1 regular, I mean, it's 30 points for no Conkers, so you're paying 20 points for Conkers, which honestly, I just don't think it's worth it. The Conkers, it's good, don't get me wrong, but basically the suppression on the Malyuka is basically the same, and the Conkers is gonna two-shot most things. Although the Malyuka M's only 16, so a 3 armor IFV would actually survive this. And all the way up to like 5 armor. Like this would one shot. I think I can't remember if it one shots a 6 armor vehicle. Definitely one shots a 5 armor vehicle. So there aren't actually that many 6 armor vehicles. It's just like not that. That used to be like 7, but oh, what was it? What was the 6 armor one? The Jaguar 2 and the Jaguar 1 on the West Germans. That's 6 armor. Very few other things are 6 armor. There's a bunch of heavy tanks that have 6 side armor, like this one. Like the T-72s get 3 top armor as well. It's absurd. They're really strong. I think it's a bit silly. Like a Chieftain only gets 2 top armor. They're too cheap. It's very sad. Anyway, just some posturing here, not a whole lot going on. I mean, El Baptisto is trying to find space here, but the problem is, now that he's done this, this will be reinforced loads. Whereas if he'd, like, defended here, built up here for ages, and then just, you know, you send over the drone. I'm pretty sure the Dutch get the drone. I know the Belgians do. Maybe the Dutch don't. But you send something, recon healer, whatever, enemy there, you hit it with the plane, and then you just thunder run down here, and obviously you got to deal with this as well. There's usually an ATGM in this building. That's a good way to try and turn the game around, because this is a +2. Otherwise, you're grinding for this town all game. And I'm just very surprised. Here we go. I was going to say, he's bought this fob. When are we going to see the Napalm grad? It's not cheap, and it's got a cheeky reload time. I don't think it should be at 1 vet. Personally, I think it should be at no vet. And that would make the reload time more. So, yeah, you know, you're getting napalm to death. Woohoo. I'm surprised he didn't go for over here, but I guess he didn't see this at the time. Anyway, these IVs, a bit too expensive for what they are. They just die fast. Just a little bit too expensive, I think. And, yeah, so you see split the volley there, so we only put 20 rounds on that. A lot of it's RNG, but if you're further away, then the RNG is bigger. And yes, you always want a CV next to it to upvet it to make that resupply time go down. And here we go. Next 20 rounds going to come in over here. And because it carries 80 rounds, it carries its own reload, which means it starts reloading immediately, even if you don't have a supply next to it, which is actually really, 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 really useful. So the issue with it is that napalm does 0 damage against things in buildings. So you see that 2 Cubs would rout this, but there was only 1, and the Strela didn't even shoot, mainly because there's a building in front of it. So yeah, good airplay from El Baptisto. Like, you'll notice that all of the F-16s are like fighter bombers. They've got 4 aims, 4 aim 9Ls. They used to call it the laser beam, or something like that. It was like a laser death ray, something like that. But yeah, you see napalm does literally 0 damage to units in buildings. It is slowly damaging the building though, and once the building collapses, this guy will just explode. Also, if he tries to leave, he will die. So yeah, that's not what it's for. It's for forests, and it's for vehicles. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you want to target, you get a target. So you see that the Cub didn't have supply there, but also he came in from here and hit it, and then he really should have tried to get out, but instead he kept going. And to be honest, he probably would have died anyway with that Strela, and the second Cub now showing up, and some Iglas now. Yeah. Also, 4th doesn't get any helicopters. It gets a recon helicopter, and that's it. It doesn't get any helicopters in the helo tab. Like it doesn't have a helo tab, which is really depressing. It's a pretty big weakness. ATGM helos on the defensive, especially, are very very strong. They are beatable. It's just people when they push, they tend to forget the AA, and then you can punish that by just having one Bopar 2 here or whatever, and just shoot them as they come in, and then they go on Reddit and they cry about it being OP, or they dive a jet at it, at which point your cubs kill that jet. But in reality, it's just when you're pushing, you want manpads with your push, because the manpads can be as far pushed up as the infantry is, and the infantry is always in front, at least it should be. Unlike in real life, in this game, infantry is cheaper than tanks, which I suppose is like real life, but there's no casualty aversion in this game because it is a game. And so the infantry goes first. Which, if you've got no casualty aversion, it makes perfect sense, right? Because you've got way more infantry than you have vehicles. I've got a book actually by Suvorov, Viktor Suvorov, and he said something like, I could try and find it actually, but he said something like a Soviet Union general will be court-martialed if he loses a tank battalion, or a tank company. He'll be court-martialed if he loses a tank company, but nothing will happen to him if he loses an infantry battalion or something like that. Basically, infantry cheap, vehicles not cheap. He's brought it at Nova. So this is the one that has the armor, so it can survive the 30 AP missiles. But he brought it at Nova. That is rough, dude. So that's going to lose its cohesion basically straight away. There's actually one here as well. So what's the plan here? Because red isn't attacking this. Blue should be trying to attack this. Red has the advantage in points. Yeah, so this is a lot of units not doing anything. I can understand getting to here with some ATGMs, but I think like all this is just, this could be over here fighting. Like, you'll notice that red doesn't actually have that many long range engagement units here. This one's really too far away to count. So this is, if you start a fight against red here, you're actually only fighting against 6 units. One of which is out of ammo. Whereas, oh mate, so this is what it's made for. It's the counter battery machine, it's the CV sniping machine, there goes your artillery. What, does that one get out? Lucky. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. It's not for infantry and buildings. I have discussions with people who say, man, this thing's bad. I had somebody describe it as so they said MFRW stands for many fires rarely works, something like that. But he was using it against buildings. He was like, right, but that's not what it's for. Basically, it's a smirch. It's a super smirch. That's how you should see it. It's a super cluster smirch. That's what it's for. The CV Eviscerator, right? It's not for infantry. You want to kill infantry, you also get regular RM70s in your deck. Anyway, you also get this, which is one of the best anti-tank planes in the game. You see that 30 AP? So this is the fundamental weakness in 4th Dutch, right? So 4th Dutch, he's not bought any of them yet, but he only gets 1 card of tanks with 18 armor. All the rest come at 16 armor. 16 armor means that you get 1 shot by a 30 AP missile. So, does he get seed? I can't remember. That was really cool, though, going for that Strela. And he gets out. Oh, does he? He does. How comes they're flying at different heights? Weird. Anyway. Yeah, because he's brought him at Nova. I'm pretty sure he gets like 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3. It's probably 4. It might even be 3, actually. Well, I'm pretty sure he had an extra one here somewhere. It might be 3. Either way, the 30 AP missile one-shots the 16 armor tanks, and blue 4th Dutch has no long-range AA. Ground-based or air-based. So you might say, well, the Belgians don't either. The Belgians don't have any heavy tanks, so the plane comes in, it snipes your Leopard 1, you kill it with 3 minstrels, and you're golden because you made a great bargain on that trade, right? Whereas in this case, the Leopard 2 is, having 16 armor means that that plane has a 75% chance to kill you every time it shoots. Having 17 armor means that, yeah, sooner or later this isn't going to work, right? I can't remember if the Dutch get the seed. If they do, there should be a seed coming out with this. But generally, eventually, the planes stop working because the map's so small that there just becomes a lot of AA. And now that comes a 4 per card, which I think is a bit silly, to be honest. There you go, regular arm 70. He's updated this one as well. You see this is 2-vet now? It's still got 200-second reload at 2-vet, which is over 3 minutes, right? It's 3 minutes, 20 seconds. So you could make the claim that it should be coming at no-vet and get that reload speed up that way. And that way, the player, as opposed to just increasing the base reload speed, you just make the vet 1 less. And then that means that if the player gets loads of kills, he is rewarded for that with increased veterancy, which means that he reloads faster. So you always want to have that option there to give the player something to strive for. I wish I was a game designer. Once I finish this PhD, I'm taking some time off to finish that Hearst Hero game. Man, that is an insult in English. Prat. I wonder if I'll get demonetized from that. Here we go, 16 armor. So, the 30 AP plane carries 2 missiles and it shoots both of them. So your chance of getting hit by 2 missiles is 25%. Your chance of getting hit by no missiles is 25%. And your chance of getting hit by 1 missile is 50%. Are you following me so far? If you have 18 armor, like this tank, which he only gets 1 card of, so he only gets like 2 at max vet, 2 at 1 vet, and you should be bringing it at 1 vet, never bring it at no vet. If you are bringing that... If the plane comes in, right, it's either going to hit you once, hit you nonce, or hit you twice. It's got to hit you twice to kill you if you've got 18 armor, which means 25% chance. If you've got 16 armor, it's either going to hit you once, which has a 50% chance of happening, because it can either happen on the first missile or the second missile, right? And yeah, that's right. And it can hit you twice, which would kill you anyway, or it can not hit you at all, which is 25% chance, right? So it's very difficult to play this div without any long range AA, and I think they should give him an Eyehawk. I think they should give him 1 card of Eyehawk. It'd solve a lot of problems. Pretty sure the Dutch had Eyehawks. Yeah. So this is now 2-vet because of the kills it's been getting, which gives it evasive maneuvers 8%, which is like a ECM. It's additional ECM, but ECM is multiplicative. He's not moved this, it's going to die. Here we go, this is the good one. 203s. Always a good one. 203. Yeah. So I'm surprised he's gone for that with the Katsia instead of the thing that will definitely kill it, which is ready. Although he's not resupplied that. So ooh, what is going on over here? Yeah, all the planes are dying. Yeah, I mean, you can't do that. You can't just fly over this. El Baptista, have I played against him? I think I have. No, I played against a guy called Bandito. And I just assumed he was Mexican because of his name, which I guess is pretty racist, to tell you the truth. But he also had like what looked like a Mexican guy as a profile picture. And I asked him where he's from, he said China. So yeah, I guess I'm just racist. I'm sorry. It's just, basically, I'm not racist at all. Until somebody beats me at Warno, and then I'm like racist against that particular race for about 10 minutes, and then it goes away. But those are the 10 minutes in which I'm recording the videos. So as far as you guys are aware, I'm just like some sort of super racist, when in reality I'm only racist for about 10 minutes in the day. And there's a lot of minutes in the day, right? 24 times 60 is a lot. and you know, like about 1,250 minutes roughly. I mean, you know, 24 times 50, yeah, 1,200. So yeah, what can I say? But yeah, these things are pretty gnarly, and you put a CV next to them, you get both of them. I don't like the 155 Toad compared to the... If this is an option, I bring this. I bring 2 cards of this. The problem is that this only comes at 1 per card, whereas this comes at 2 per card, and it is a lot cheaper. Like, if you look at... That's 115. Is this the British one? It's got the direct fire, you see, so... No, I don't think it is. No, I don't think it is. I think it might be the French one. I don't know. I mean, it's got an M designation, so maybe it's American. But it doesn't really look like the American ones. Although I've never really zoomed in on them. So, more planes. I just can't remember if they get the seed, man. I'm going to have to check after this. And that was a pretty good bombing run. You see, if you do it right on the limit, on the exposed enemy targets, you tend to survive things. Because not all the AA will be shooting. Having said that, not all of the AA has ammo. And there's a thing right here. And, like, yeah, what can I say? So this should be there so that this gets the vet bonus. Because, like, this already has it. This has got one because it already killed something. Weren't there 3 cubs? No. The default is 45% accuracy. And then this has been upvetted by the CV, and this has been upvetted from a kill. As we're talking about with the, you know, lower the veterancy of this by 1. This one. So... He needs to use these, like, they've been sat there for ages. There's only 14 minutes left. You got to use them. I mean, this is an absolutely perfect target for the napalm one. It's right here. And the regular one, you just keep chucking at these buildings. Obviously, at some point, you got to walk forwards and find some enemies to shoot. If you're red, basically, you want to take this. And you want to take this. And then you want to take this. Because... I mean, I'm always guilty of this. I always run over here. But if you've got somebody here spotting you... Very, very difficult to get anything done. The only problem is, run into here. If the enemy is here, he shoots you as you run to here. So you got to smoke this, and then run up there. Here we go. Yeah, the napalm on that forest. The genies are going back in the bottle. That was a pretty good one. I should remember that and use that next time. That's like a hype cast kind of. Oh, I can't believe it. The GDs, they're all dead! Seb! That's a Dota 2 one. I don't recommend Dota 2 at all. But yeah, and like the regular one, they should always be shooting. If you got a fob, this fob should be empty by the end of the game, basically. Otherwise, you've wasted your time buying it, essentially. If you use less than 6,000 supply on your fob, you should have brought a card of supply instead. That's a pretty good rule, because every card in the game is now 6,000 supply, which I don't really agree with either. So it looks like he's brought 2 cards of 155s and 1 of these. But there isn't actually anybody there, and if he put this here, he would know that. But he's left it back here. Even if he put this to there, he would know that, but instead he's just shooting. It's kind of weird. So yeah, lots of arty. It's kind of weird to me that so the tubes aren't great for counter battery. They're all right against mortars, you know, like 2-man mortars. Generally, you want either drive up the regular RM70 quite close and hit him with that, or use the napalm one on the artillery, and you'll usually get it. You can use the whole salvo instead of splitting it. It's pretty pog, as they say on the interwebs. But yeah, I mean, all these guys just not doing anything. Big waste, big waste. Imagine, actually, like, given how much he has there, throw a couple stingers in there. These guys get like 4 cards of stingers, if you want them. And 2 cards of gepards, or cheetahs as they call them. Cheetah is, somebody told me cheetah, gepard was German for cheetah. Which is probably true, given that leopard is German for leopard. but yeah, gepard is German for leopard. Probably not right, given that they have tanks called leopards. Or leopard, as they call it. So, he is getting them. what can I say? I mean, this guy's made no attempt to move his RT after firing. Well, he's moved this one now. So, is this just going to be one of those games that just goes another 13 minutes and then Blue loses by 113 points and it was all down to the CVs at the start? Could it really be? Having said that, sooner or later Red's going to have enough of a unit advantage here to just select all this and click over here. Like look how many T-72s he has. We've not actually seen a single tank engagement. Oh no, actually there was one here. Here we go. So that was a side shot. So that's why it died in one hit, even though it had the 18 armor. That's a shame. I wanted to prove my my statistics. You know, I know things. I'm sort of smart. I mean, I was dumb enough to try and do a PhD. I think that was pretty dumb. I've done a lot of other stupid things, but I know basic probability calculations. I think that's a good thing. So this is not being punished because there's not actually no stingers back here. It's all just cheaters, which are just not great. They do a bit, but 2 stingers and you're dead, right? Whereas 2 cheaters and you tend to survive, actually. So this guy is just getting hit by ATGMs from every which way, and the 6 armor will save him from that if he gets side shot or whatever. But you see how this is the Malyuka P, which has 70 in pen, whereas this is the Malyuka... Somewhere there's a Malyuka not P. I don't know if it was like the L. Malyuka M. M stands for molding, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you gotta... What are you doing? But this is why you want to attack up to here and then down from here, because there's usually nobody here, and then you're only getting shot from one side. Whereas if you just start coasting across the open field like this, you get shot from this way, you get shot from this way. Credit to Funny Transport Enjoy, though. I mean, he's played to his division strengths, which is spam rocket arty, and then, you know, attack with 10 million T-72s. So he is smoking, he's doing the smoke thing. However, he should not actually be smoking in this case, because he has the fire superiority. So what you want to do is smoke one area, and then attack. Basically, if you've got 3 ATGMs, look at it. Did you see that? That was the C one, but because it had lost a bit of HP, 1 missile killed it. Whereas this, 1 missile would have killed it from fresh. If there's 3 enemy ATGMs on you, you smoke off 2 of them and kill the 3rd one, right? That kind of thing. So if you want to attack here, you like smoke this side and advance on this side. Like there's a lot of units here not helping, so you move up your blob. But yeah, here we go. So Bro is trying to cross the field, but the field is on fire. This is probably going to die. Oh. I think a great way to sort of nerf this unit a bit would be to make it do way less damage to armoured vehicles. Like, look how fast that was dying. And then you can start messing with the price and stuff. But there you go. I mean, that was a game. So Funny Transport Enjoyer is no one, apparently. And El Baptisto is weird. So yeah, GG. It was a good game. I mean, personally, I think Blue was always going to struggle there, and yeah, it was toughy for Blue, but Red played well. I mean, he bought things and stopped the breakthroughs and so on. I hope you enjoyed that. I will see you around. GG.